I'm going to invite you to think bigger because it's within your capacity to go bigger and create a bigger, juicier goal. Welcome to the Inspired Wave. This is the podcast and community for conscious female leaders and founders who are ready to enjoy more peace and prosperity in their business while creating more inspired impact in the lives they're here to serve, who are ready to fully step into their leadership and live their life's purpose with confidence and passion. I'm your host, CJ Rivard, and with over 30 years in leadership and business, I blend tactical strategies with the art of intuition, the science of energetics, and the magic that happens when we create empowered relationships and take aligned action, all to help women get out of hustle mode, thrive, and really fall in love with what they do. If you're enjoying this podcast, please consider sharing it and leaving us a 5-star review. It really will make a huge difference in helping others find the podcast and allows us to inspire and impact more lives. Welcome to the show. Today we're doing a deep dive into energy and how that affects your goal creation. We're going to be talking about what it means to be energetically aligned, why that's important, and how you can actually determine if you really are aligned to those goals. So stay tuned. To make sure we're all on the same page, I'm going to start with a really quick recap of what I mean when I talk about energy and frequency. So basically, everything in the universe and beyond is made up of energy. And without getting too scientific, because that's not what we do here, if you think about it, if you picture two objects, not just those objects are made up of energy, but all of the space in between has little subatomic particles that you can't see that are vibrating and creating energy. So this is the universal law of vibration. Everything vibrates and everything is energy. And the speed with which something is vibrating is known as its frequency. And there's a lot of things that we can't see that have unique frequencies. You're already used to thinking about this if you think about information being transmitted to you and received into a radio or a TV or your computer or cell phone. You know this information is coming through the air, through electromagnetic waves, and you can't see it, but you know it's happening, right? And just like that, your emotions and your thoughts are energy, and they're vibrating, and they can move. They don't just stay stagnant in your head, as an example. They can move around. And they have unique frequencies depending on what they are. So the more positive, happy thoughts or emotions have higher frequencies. And then the ones that we don't like to feel have lower frequencies. So as an example, if you think about joy, excitement, love, all of those amazing emotions we love to feel, those have very high frequencies compared to something like grief, despair, anger. Those are very low frequency emotions. And then, of course, there's a huge range of emotions and frequencies in between those extremes. So similar to your thoughts and emotions, people have unique frequencies that we are resonating at. And these frequencies can change over time. They can go both up and down depending on what's going on with us. And generally, people think about this as being created by our overall emotional state. And this is both true and not quite true. So your emotional state will absolutely impact your frequency, and that's why it's important that we raise our emotional intelligence and we notice and regulate our emotions to stay in a more positive state. However, there's other things that can contribute because we can hold on to negative, lower frequency emotions that we thought we got rid of a long time ago. Those can stick around and keep our frequency down, or limiting beliefs. Remember, beliefs live in our subconscious, so we don't always recognize, we frequently don't recognize that they're there. But if they are limiting lower frequency beliefs, they can also keep our frequency down. And so what happens is, even though you may think of yourself and you may come across as a happy, high vibe type of person, you're generally happy, that doesn't mean that your frequency may be in alignment with those happier emotions, depending on what's going on with other energy in and around you. So why does this matter? Because the universal law of attraction, which is part of the law of vibration, everything vibrates, and then the law of attraction tells us that like attracts like. So in addition to your identity, your beliefs, and your actions all needing to be congruent with those goals that you're trying to create, so does your frequency. So your goals also have a frequency, and this is created by your subconscious based on where you currently are. So two people could have the same goal, but depending on where they are in life, the frequency of that goal could be different. And I'll explain that a little more. So let's say you have a goal that's pretty easy and within the realm of your existing skills, reality, comfort zone. It's an easy goal. You'll accomplish it. It's going to have a frequency right within where you currently are frequency-wise. Your personal frequency, it will be in resonance with, because you're already there and you can create it. But on the other hand, if you have a goal that is a big goal and it's a stretch for you, and it's outside of your existing reality and comfort zone, it's going to have a higher frequency than what you're currently at. And remember, the higher, more desirable emotions have a higher frequency. And so our subconscious assigns that higher frequency to those goals that we don't have yet, but are going to make us feel really good. It gives it a higher frequency. This isn't a bad thing. This is something you can work with, but you have to understand how it works. And it's actually a good thing. This is how we evolve, to stretch ourselves and grow and up-level our frequency. So you may already have a suspicion that something's out of alignment if you are doing all of the things. You're taking the action and feel like your identity's aligned and all of those things, but somehow your goal is eluding you. This is probably what's going on. And first, I just want to stress that this doesn't happen typically. It's not a common occurrence because, as we know, most people don't stretch themselves, right? They don't have goals that stretch themselves because they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to step out of their comfort zone. They don't want to potentially fail on their first try. And so most people, this isn't an issue for. They stay within their existing reality and comfort zone. However, if you have a big vision and you're trying to create a big impact in the world, which I have a feeling you are, then this is a common occurrence. So, as I explained, our frequency can be affected by older, trapped, lower frequency emotions, or by limiting beliefs that are in our subconscious and we don't even know they're there. So even though you see yourself as happy, high vibe, high frequency kind of a person, that doesn't mean necessarily that that's where your frequency is. So it's really important that you know where your frequency is so that you can grow it and keep up leveling. and be intentional about raising it. And you don't just want to do this to match your goal and be able to create whatever that is. It's got a lot of positive impact, both for you as a leader, because it's going to make you more magnetic, and also for all the people around you, because you're going to help raise them through your high frequency. So you want to intentionally work toward getting it as high as you possibly can. The good news is, I have a simple and free tool that you can use to measure both your frequency and your goal and find out where you currently are. So we'll link to that in the show notes. And then once you have that information, what do you do with it? So there's a realm of possibilities, right? Once you test your goal and your frequency, you may find that your goal and your personal frequency are aligned, in which case you're good to go. Or maybe your personal frequency is a little higher than your goal. So there's no problem, and you need to just keep taking those aligned actions, and it is definitely within your capacity to create that goal. You might also find that your personal frequency is a lot higher than your goal, in which case, that's a fun possibility. I'm going to invite you to think bigger, because it's within your capacity to go bigger and create a bigger, juicier goal. So that's fun to find out. And then if your goal is higher than your current personal frequency, this isn't a problem. Do not get discouraged, because as I explained, this is often the case when we're stretching ourselves. If your goal isn't in your current reality, it's going to require more of you to create it, and it's going to require a higher frequency. So I've shared tips in a previous episode about how to raise your frequency, and we're going to link to that in the show notes as well. I want to strongly encourage you to go check that out and begin to be really intentional in taking energetic responsibility for where you're at and continuing to raise your frequency.